The other way of making a lot more juice is you blend the cabbage, and then you put it in a closed container, and you leave it for 3 days, and it becomes, it evolves. You blend it and you add some salt, and then it becomes a probiotic drink, sauerkraut juice. It's very quick. Whereas this takes a little bit longer for the vegetables to be protected, as well as to develop the probiotic bacteria. Okay, so now we have our sauerkraut. And now we're going to talk about the health benefits of it. By the fermentation of sauerkraut, many beneficial probiotic bacteria are produced, which improve the immune system, which improve the cognitive power of a person, in other words, the ability to think clearly. It helps tremendously digestion. It helps the endocrine functioning. And using this fermentation preserves vegetables and other perishable foods for long periods of time without using modern-day refrigerators, freezers, and canning machines. Fermentation converts carbohydrates, like sugars, into alcohols and carbon dioxide or organic acids. Well, in this particular case, it's organic acids. And it requires the presence of a carbohydrate source, such as milk or vegetables, which contain sugar molecules, plus yeast and bacteria, or both. So the yeast and bacteria microorganisms are responsible for converting glucose, or sugar, into healthy bacteria strains that populate your gut environment, or your stomach environment, or intestinal environment, and help regulate many bodily functions. Okay. So that's the theory of positive fermentation. And so when you deprive the bacteria or yeast of oxygen, then the miracle takes place. That's why when you pound it down, it's to get as much air out of it as possible, make it compact. And then you put a weight on top, and then a cloth covering on top of that. Then it deprives the access of oxygen here. Therefore, the fermentation takes place rather than rotting. And because of that particular fermentation in an anaerobic or an oxygen-free environment, positive bacteria such as lactic acid, Lactobacillus acidophilus, and others develop. Lactic acid is a natural preservative and inhibits harmful bacterial growth. So, when you have microbial disbalance or imbalances in the body, you get sick. You become prone to diseases. And the probiotic foods address that issue. So sauerkraut provides probiotics, and the negative bacteria in the there's a war that takes place between the positive and negative bacteria in your intestines. Most of the digestion takes place. It begins in the mouth with saliva. It continues in the stomach with hydrochloric acid. Then the bacteria get their chance, most in the intestines. So even if you have a composter, if you compost your remains or peelings from the kitchen, the composter works in the same way. Positive bacteria, either in an aerobic or anaerobic environment, begin to digest. So they digest. Digestion means they break down the complex sugars and carbohydrates to simple sugars. And as we explained before, there's simple sugars, like glucose, are the food that your body needs. Just like if you go to a hospital and they put all those tubes on you in the emergency room, that glucose keeps you alive because you can't eat. You have tubes, say, going down into your lungs. You can't eat, right? So how do they keep you alive? How do you keep you nourished? You put glucose directly into your bloodstream. So when you digest food, you break down fructose and the more complicated sugars into these very simple sugars that nourish the body. Obviously, the food doesn't go through your blood veins, right? What comes through the blood veins is those simple sugars that nourish the body, that feed the cells and keeps you alive. So, in the Indian Journal of Medical Microbiology in 2009, there's a following quote: "The use of antibiotics, immunosuppressive therapy, and irradiation, amongst other means of treatment, may cause alterations in the gut composition, in other words, in the natural bacteria in your intestine, and have an effect on the, let's say, positive bacteria. Therefore, the introduction of beneficial bacterial species to the gastrointestinal tract may be a very attractive option to reestablish the microbial equilibrium and prevent disease." So in other words, they're saying, when you take antibiotics, when you, due to severe sickness, have to have radiation therapy or chemotherapy, it destroys good and bad bacteria in the intestinal tract, which means your immune system becomes zero. So, the immediate symptoms of your sickness, maybe it's cancer, maybe it's a cold, maybe it's an infection, go away. But the price you pay is that your immune system also is either destroyed or it's severely compromised. So that what happens is the sickness comes back again. And many people, in fact, one lady just died. That's what happened to her. She went through the normal treatment for breast cancer, and she was declared cured, right? But after 5 years, she died of cancer that went deeper into her body because her immune system was killed. And the doctors don't tell you that you should replace those, because the antibiotics, the radiation, all these things, they kill the good and the bad in the body, not just the bad. So therefore, in this, let's say, coded language here, basically, in the Indian Journal of Medical Microbiology, they're saying, if you take the immunosuppressive therapies, chemotherapy, radiation therapy, antibiotics, etc., it may cause alteration in the gut composition. In other words, what they're saying is definitely it causes an alteration. Definitely it kills everything positive and negative in your intestinal tract. And therefore, it has an effect on the gastrointestinal tract flora. Flora means all the bacteria that are, there's always a balance when you're healthy and an imbalance when you're unhealthy. So when there's a balance, the probiotic bacteria in your intestinal tract control the negative bacteria. But when there's an imbalance, it's the other way. The negative bacteria control the positive bacteria, and therefore your immune system is virtually non-existent, and you're prone to getting sick. Now, why is it that so many people have AIDS? They don't die of AIDS. Let's say they're HIV positive. What actually kills them? What kills them is anything can affect them. A cold can kill them. A cold can develop into severe pneumonia, and then they die because they don't have an immune system that can respond to the. But a normal person would not get sick like that and die. So they don't die of the. What is AIDS? Your immune system is so compromised that any little thing can kill you. So the good bacteria living in someone's healthy gut environment have been proved to be crucial for lowering the risk of just about every form of acute or chronic illness that exists. The 2006 report published in the Journal of Applied Microbiology states that probiotic benefits from cultured foods include lowering the risk of brain disorders and mental illness, digestive disorders like leaky gut syndrome, ulcerative colitis, and IBS.
Irritable bowel syndrome.
Yeah, right. Mood disorders like depression and anxiety, cancer, asthma, hormonal imbalances, food allergies and sensitivities, metabolic conditions such as diabetes, obesity or weight gain, various autoimmune diseases. This is a pretty impressive list. It covers most all problems that people have today due to what's called the traditional American diet. And the traditional American diet today is eating denatured foods like strawberry shortcake, like pizza, like French fries, like ice cream, and like canned foods. And when you eat canned foods, you're eating mainly salt. They use salt as a preservative. But they sort of mask the overpowering taste of too much salt by sugar and other things. So you don't really feel it as much, but actually you're getting a huge dose of salt by eating canned foods, like Campbell's soup and all these things. So how is this possible that probiotic foods can lower the risk of all these conditions? Well, it's due to probiotics' direct and indirect influences on various organs and systems in the body, especially the rate at which your body produces inflammation and controls hormone production. So, anytime you have pain, it's caused by inflammation in the body. Let's say you have a headache. There's some kind of inflammation going on in the head. Let's say you have a sore arm, right? Well, you might have got a blow on the arm, right, and injured some capillaries, and all of a sudden it's inflamed. You have gout. Gout is an inflammation caused by too much acidity and too much calcification of the bones, and it irritates the capillaries, and then it's inflamed. It gets red hot. You know. Arthritis, rheumatism, these are all due to inflammation. And so, in fact, there was a big article in Time magazine some years ago, talking about how almost all pain is caused by some inflammation somewhere in the body. So, the probiotics have a direct and indirect influence, and especially at the rate your body produces inflammation and controls the hormones. The hormones balance the body. So when you have hormonal imbalance, especially women have that often during menstrual or menopausal time, it causes tremendous discomfort, sometimes pain and mental distress. So, the latest science tells us that probiotic-rich foods can help, one, improve immune function, since they create a barrier against potential invaders, including bad bacteria, like pathogens, viruses, fungi, and parasites. In India, there's a lot of parasitic sickness. You have all kinds of little microscopic worms floating in water that has been infected with sewage. You take one glass of that water, you're done. you get, you're sick for sometimes months, and sometimes for the rest of your life. Because those little worms, they reproduce. And you have to take these very heavy antibiotics to kill them. And then that has an effect also, that has a side effect. Just like you see many pharmaceutical drugs that you buy with a prescription, they have, warning. If you have this condition and you take this drug, you will die. If you have this condition and you take this drug, you will die. Well, you see, those, just as we said before, those antibiotics are actually killer drugs. They kill things. The hope is that you don't overdose. Many times people will overdose on these drugs specifically to commit suicide. So one thing used in small quantity might heal you. The same thing used in overdose will kill you because it's actually a poison. So these probiotic rich foods aid in digestion and absorption of various nutrients. In order to absorb, like for example, people take vitamins because they're vitamin deprived, like say B12 or B vitamins in general, or vitamin C, etc. But in order for your body to take benefit of those vitamins, you need other things, certain minerals. And then the vitamins are absorbed. Otherwise, you'll take the vitamins on a regular basis, but your condition really doesn't get much better because they're going in and out. They're not being absorbed by the body. Therefore, it's much more beneficial to derive your vitamins, minerals, and positive bacteria by foods like this. Because it's already balanced, it's already organic. Many of the things that we take for health are inorganic materials like iron. Women have less iron, so therefore, because of the menstrual period, they lose blood, therefore they get anemic. So therefore, they're recommended to take iron capsules. Well, those iron capsules are inorganic iron, and very little of it is absorbed into the body. So it just goes in and out of the body. Whereas, if you take spinach has organic iron in it, and other greens. Just like now at the farm, we're growing many greens. We have a new green called Idaho winter spinach. It's the most beautiful, colorful thing you've ever seen in your life. It is actually spinach. It's rich in all kinds of vitamins and minerals. And it grows even in the winter time. So it's growing right now. We have 3 boxes of it. It's very, very tasty, and we bring it here on Sunday also to offer to people. We come to the farm and get it. So spinach is a superfood. It has natural iron, so many vitamins and minerals in it. Then the probiotic-rich foods detoxify the body, since the probiotics help prevent infections and combat toxins living within your digestive tract. Probiotic-rich foods support brain function and cognitive health, even helping to prevent dementia, treat Alzheimer's disease, and stave off memory loss. So many people come up to me and say, "Prabhu, I can't remember anything." Fortunately, I remember your name now, but I don't know if tomorrow I'll remember who you are. Is there any one of your Ayurvedic herbs that can help? Yeah. Sauerkraut and Kambucha and other probiotic foods. Control and stave off memory loss. Handle stress through the gut-brain connection. Okay, anytime you have a headache, it's because of digestive problems. So the headache is not caused up here. The headache is caused down here. Therefore, if you clean the gut meaning the intestinal tract, and populate with positive bacteria, headaches go away, even migraine headaches. But they don't tell you that, and they give you all these different types of severe drugs to dilate the capillaries and the veins, so that more blood will bring more oxygen to the brain, and then you get temporary relief from the headache. But that's not the cause of the headache. That's a result of the congestion in the intestinal tract, which means that more blood is staying down here and less blood is going to the brain. Therefore, less oxygen, therefore you get a severe headache. So it supports, these probiotic foods support brain function and cognitive health, even helping to prevent dementia, treat Alzheimer's disease, and stave off memory loss, handle stress through the gut-brain connection, your microflora's effects on your endocrine hormonal system. So microflora means all the bacteria in your intestinal tract. So one thing that happens, like for example, if you go through radiation therapy, you also lose your hair. You don't only lose your hair. That's only one external thing that you see. You lose your microflora in the entire intestinal tract, which means that you cannot respond to viruses and diseases, and you're disarmed completely. Control inflammation that is at the root of most diseases, as we already said. So this is what happens when you can take probiotic foods like sauerkraut, which we're going to taste in a minute. Sauerkraut is a very low calorie, but as you can see, it's an anti-inflammatory food and is packed with benefits. Besides having probiotics to offer, sauerkraut is a good source of antioxidants and dietary fiber too. Thanks to its main ingredient, cabbage, even eating a small amount daily, just several tablespoons, can give you significant benefits and a great source of nutrients, including vitamin K, vitamin C, calcium, potassium, and phosphorus, and of course probiotics. There's a lot of calcium and vitamin C in sauerkraut. So you don't have to go and buy, pharmacy buy vitamin C. You have it right here, and you're making it yourself. And it doesn't cost hardly anything. This is the value of learning about probiotic foods. One reason you might want to stick to a smaller serving, it's a bit high in sodium, with about 20% of your needs in every half-cup serving. Considering sea salt is one of the main ingredients, although real sea salt has its own set of benefits, and sauerkraut's perks definitely still outweigh this point. So if you use more than salt, then you have a side effect, potential side effect. But if you use real salt, unrefined sea salt or unrefined mine salt, or also the Himalayan pink salt, which is a mine salt, then real salt itself has health benefits because it supplies 3% of a mixed bag of minerals that offset this concentration of sodium chloride, and is very beneficial for your health. But if you just eat normal salt, there are many disadvantages to it, and it causes, can cause severe problems over a long period of time. So, therefore, number one point that is extremely important is this type of probiotic food, especially sauerkraut, improves your digestion. Well, if you can digest food, you get all the minerals and vitamins you need from your food. You don't have to take supplements. And if you can digest food, you don't have any problem eliminating it. It flows naturally because of the high fiber and because of the probiotic bacteria. So you don't have to take laxatives. You don't have to have intestinal cleansing. You don't have to do colonoscopies. Colonoscopy is a type of humiliating experience, right? If you know what I mean. So you don't have to go through all that nonsense if you maintain proper bacterial culture in your intestinal tract. Okay, microorganisms present in sauerkraut, including those of the Lactobacillus bacteria genus, especially feed the good bacteria in your gut meaning the entire intestinal tract, which improves digestive health. Research shows that within sauerkraut, Lactobacillus plantarum is the predominant lab bacteria strain that's born during the fermentation phase. We still have a lot to learn about the extract types of beneficial bacteria that grow within cultured foods. But for the time being, a 2003 report published in the Journal of Applied Environmental Microbiology demonstrated the complex ecology present in sauerkraut fermentations. This provides new insights into the complex bioprocess of vegetable fermentations. So the problem is, pharmaceutical companies will not do any studies on probiotic foods because they can't patent anything and make money off of it. So they talk about genetic alteration, they talk about miracle new drug, and so forth, but they don't talk about these simple things that are inexpensive and that anyone can do at home because they can't make money on it. Therefore, there's no big medical studies that's published in newspapers. It's only in the naturopathic, Ayurvedic culture that these type of things are talked about. Because they can help, and then it says, samples taken from former commercial sauerkraut fermentation tanks over a 100-day period in 2001. A total of 171 phage isolates, including at least 26 distinct phages, were observed within the sauerkraut. In addition, 28 distinct bacterial host strains were isolated and identified as lab bacteria strains. These host strains included Leuconostoc, Weissella, Lactobacillus species. Because they can help lower the presence of toxins, inflammation, and bad bacteria living within your digestive tract, probiotic bacteria are beneficial for reducing symptoms like irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, constipation, yes, they help you poop, diarrhea, bloating, food sensitivities, and digestive disorders. We often hear that probiotic yogurt is one of the best foods to eat for better digestion and preventing illnesses. But non-dairy cultured foods like sauerkraut have the same effects and even better. So, obviously, in India, people culture dairy, and they eat it on a regular basis. And in